Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks and we've been busy with getting the house ready to list and downsizing, and it's amazing how much stuff a family can amass in a house in 22 years. And I'm here to tell you, it's a lot. But today's video was brought to you by Roberto Godino, who is a long-term viewer and commenter who asked me if I should do a video about the differences in taxes in married filing jointly versus married filing separately. Now, you guys, I know nobody wants to talk about taxes, and I get it. Taxes suck. But here's the thing. There's something we all have to do, whether we like it or not. So here we go. So I found an article here on Policy Genius. Should a married couple file taxes jointly or separately? Most married taxpayers are better off filing jointly, but you may want to file separately in certain circumstances. So let's scroll down, and it says the 4 main reasons married couples should file jointly. Most couples can save more on their federal tax by filing jointly on their income tax return, but there are reasons it doesn't work for some people. So let's look at these top 4. Separate filers lose access to many deductions and credits. You also may pay a higher tax rate. If we take a look at the national tax rate here, we'll see that married filing separately, 10% goes up to $99.50. 22% goes up to $86.35. But let's take a look at married filing jointly. So if I'm married filing jointly, my tax rate goes up 10% to $19,900. But if I'm filing in the 22% bracket, which is a lot of people here, right? It goes from 81,000 to 172,750 versus 86,375. Okay, access to individual retirement accounts is limited. So basically what they're saying there is your ability to donate to certain IRAs gets dropped after $10,000 of income. And it also makes it complicated for your state returns because your state expects you, if you're married, to file together. Now, some of the deductions, as I said, the earned income tax credit, the student loan interest deduction, the American Opportunity Tax Credit, and credit for child and dependent care services, and possibly the adoption credit in a lot of states. So there's 3 big reasons not to file separately. Another one is, as I said, you may pay a higher tax rate because you are essentially paying the single taxpayer rate. And so the example they give is a separate filer with an AGI of $100,000 for 2020 would pay a top tax rate of 24% and potentially about $15,000 in federal income tax. But joint filers with $100,000 of income would pay a top rate of 12% and only $8,600 in tax. So obviously that's a big difference. And we showed that before in the tax rates. It also limits how much you can put in your IRA, as we said. If you want to save for retirement outside of your employer, you can open an IRA as long as your income is in with certain limits. The maximum income for a joint filer to fully qualify for a traditional IRA is $198,000. If you're separate, it's $10,000, you guys. So most people, if they are trying to live as a single person, are making more than $10,000. So they can't fully fund a IRA on their own, which is really kind of a thing. As we said, it also complicates your state return. Now, there are a few reasons why you actually might want to file separately. And here's the 3 main reasons. You're separated and you qualify as a head of household. Before I showed you on the head of household screen, the head of household is actually higher. So remember, it was $99.50, it's $14,200. And the top of the 22% bracket goes up to $86,350. So it does give you a little bit more room to do that. Now, to qualify as head of household, obviously you have to have children in the house. The other thing is you might have significant itemized deductions. Maybe you've done a lot of charity donations. Maybe you've done a lot of other things that itemize. Maybe you have health problems. If you're thinking about itemizing, sometimes being single can make it a little bit better. The last one is now remember, if you're married filing separately, you are separated, you guys. You're not living together. And it could be that your spouse has some questionable finances. And if that's the case, you may not want the IRS looking at you and your husband or your wife's finances. In this case, it might be better for you to not have them on the list. And if we go into that a little bit further, it says you may want to file separately if you're trying to protect yourself from a spouse's suspicious financial situation. That way you aren't liable for the information in your spouse's return if you file separate returns. And for example, considering filing separately if you think your spouse is evading taxes or attempting to commit tax fraud. You may also want to file separately if your spouse has debt that's subject to either a refund seizure or an income-based payment plan. Maybe they've not paid their child support and there's a lien on their mortgage or these kinds of things. Or they have student loans that they haven't repaid. There could be a lot of different reasons why your spouse may have questionable taxes that you don't necessarily want to ruin your tax thing. There's 3 reasons. But as a rule, you guys, and if we take a look at the 3 big ones. So here's head of household. Oops. We can see that married filing jointly is the best, right? 22%, which is the majority of the United States, makes between $81,000 and $172,000, you guys, combined income. That's husband and wife. So you'd be in the 22% bracket. But if you're married filing separately, you can see that now the top of the 22% bracket is $86,375. So a little less than about half, you guys. It could definitely make you pay more taxes. As a rule, I think most people are better off married filing jointly, but just like everything else in taxes and life, there are exceptions. What do you guys think? Are you guys married? Do you file married filing jointly? Does anybody file married filing separately? If you do, put in the comments why you do, because I'm interested to see how many people actually do this and how come they do it. Because by getting this information out, I actually learn. Now, full disclosure, my wife and I have been married for 29 years, and we've always filed married filing jointly, and it works. We pay our fair share of taxes. I will say that, right? We make a decent wage. We pay our taxes. And I've never even considered not filing jointly because we're married and we live together. But I understand that there are certain situations out there where that might not be the best case. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. All right, you guys, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, do me a favor. Drop me that like. It really helps the algorithm. Gets my videos out to more people. If you think somebody you know might benefit from this, share it on social media or let them know about it.